doing the NFL recap. I'm doing NFL recap for Week 7 here today. There's the usual craziness in the NFL. We'll get to it. First game, Thursday night. Cincinnati beats the Steelers 33-31. Bengals are 3-4. Steelers are 4-2. A little slow. I think the internet's being slow today. Uploading videos has been taking much longer than it usually does. Rodgers has 249 yards passing. 4 TDs, 2 picks. He's not sacked. Warren has 127 yards rushing on them. 16 carries. Freiermuth, 5 catches, 111 yards, 2 TDs. Smith has the other Smith has a receiving TD, and Washington also has a receiving TD. They get a sack from Benton, a half sack from Hayward, and a half sack from Watt. Their kicker hits all his extra points and field goals. The Bengals, Joe Flacco, recently traded to the Bengals. 342 yards, 3 TDs, and no picks. He is not sacked. Brown has 11 carries for 108 yards. Chase and Higgins have receiving TDs. Chase has 16 catches for 161 yards. Noah Fant, former Bronco, also has a receiving touchdown. Like I said, they get no sacks. They get picks from Battle and Turner II. Their kicker's 4 for 4 from field goals and 3 of 3 on the extra point. So, nice little win for the Bengals. They need to win whatever they can while Burrow is hurt. Because there's not much competition in that division right now. Lamar Jackson's hurt. The Browns are the Browns. And Burrow is hurt. On to this is the London game. They got a shitty one on one side of the ball, but the Rams beat the Jags 35-7. So they got a bunch of touchdowns from one of the teams. And there was some, what's his name went nuts? Stafford. Stafford had 182 yards, 5 TDs, no picks. So that is exciting to get that kind of action. At least, as long as there's excitement on one end, that's something, right? Williams has 54 yards rushing to lead the way. Parkinson has 47 yards receiving. Devontae Adams has 5 catches for 35 yards and 3 touchdowns. Ferguson has a receiving touchdown, and Mumpfield has a receiving touchdown. They get 7 sacks here. A sack and a half from Landman, a sack from Lake, a sack from Stewart, a sack from Verse, a sack and a half from Young, and a sack from Murchison. Their kicker doesn't have to kick any field goals, and he hits all 5 of the extra points. Jags are now crashing back down to earth. I think they were 4-1, and they've lost their last 2. The Rams look pretty good. They're 5-2. Stafford has looked fantastic. Chiefs blow out the Raiders 31-0. Chiefs 4-3. Raiders 2-5. Geno Smith 10 for 16, 67 yards, no TDs, no picks. Pickett comes in and throws 2 for 2 for 8 yards. Also no TDs, no picks. Smith is sacked once. They ran for 25 yards as a team on 11 carries. Their leading receiver is Trey Tucker with 33 yards. Pickett loses a fumble. They do get a sack from Adams. I think he's a former Bronco. Jamal Adams, could be wrong. Nothing going on for the Raiders. Raiders are looking like shit. Mahomes has 286, 3 TDs, no picks. He's sacked at one time. Number 10, Pacheco, 57 yards rushing and a TD. Rice has 2 receiving TDs. Hollywood Brown has a receiving TD. Kelsey leads the way with 54 yards receiving. They get a sack from Jones. That's it. Not a lot of sacks. Their kicker hits his 1 field goal and all extra points. Just a beating. The last two games there, 35-7. 31-0, and it gets better here. Another beatdown. The Browns destroy the Dolphins 31-6. Dolphins 1-6. Browns 2-5. The Dolphins are awful. They have injuries, but they are just not good. 100 yards, no TDs, 3 picks. He sacked twice. Quinn Ewers comes in. Ewers. He's a rookie, right? Was he one of the guys at Texas QB? He has 53 yards, no TDs, no picks. He's also sacked twice. Achan, 82 yards, rushing. Eskridge has 45 yards receiving to lead the way. They fumble the ball 6 times, but only lose 1, and it's Eskridge that loses it. They get a sack from Dodson, a sack from Phillips. Their kicker kicks both the field goals and hits them both. Dylan Gabriel, 116 yards, no TDs, no picks. He sacked twice for the Browns. Judkins, 84 yards rushing and 3 TDs. Fannin Jr. has 36 yards receiving to lead the way. Del Pitt has a sack. Baker has a sack. Garrett has a sack. McMillan has a sack. Tyson Campbell has a pick for 34 yards that he returned for a TD. Hickman has a pick, and Jenkins has a pick. Their kicker hits his 1 field goal and all of his extra points. A lot of 3 beatings in a row. This is kind of a beating, too. This game was close at the half, actually. Turned into more of a beating, though. Patriots, 5-2 now. Beat the Titans 31-13. Titans are 1-6. They look awful as well. Drake May continues a great season. He actually had the best, I think, QB rating or something ever. And that includes Brady in the mix. He was 21-23. 222 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked 4 times. Stevenson's 88 yards, rushing and a TD. Diggs has 7 catches, 69 yards, lead the way. Boot has a receiving touchdown, and Hooper has a receiving touchdown. Williams has a sack. Chasen, 2 sacks. Landry III has a sack. Oh, who else had a sack? Oh, no, the one guy had 2. That's right. No, wait. Who else had the sack? I only count 4 sacks. Do they have like a team sack or something? They do that sometimes. I forget what it is. Marcus Jones has a pick. Their kicker hits his 1 field goal as extra points. The Titans. I almost just went right past the next game. Cam Moore, 255, a TD and a pick. He sacked 5 times. They run the ball for 39 yards and 12 carries as a team. Dyke, 70 yards receiving and a TD. I don't know if that's how you say it. Or is it Dick? Cam Moore loses a fumble. They get a sack from Sweat, Ward, Joseph Day, and Jones. All have sacks. Their kicker's 2-2 with a long 50. It's his extra point. Another slugfest with the Jets involved. Panthers beat the Jets 13-6 to go to 4-3. The Jets are 0-7. It's funny because it's like Jets are 0-7. They could be looking at 0-16, right? Or 1-17. But I looked at the standings. I wanted to see the point differential. There's 5 or 6 teams, I think it's 5, that have worse point differentials than the Jets. I don't even think the Jets are actually the worst team in the league. They just have the worst record. Because some of these teams, like the Titans are terrible. The Dolphins are terrible. We'll find some other ones as we go. The Saints are terrible. Bryce Young got hurt in this game, I believe. And I think he's out next week. I think they said he was out. I think I heard that on the local news here in North Carolina. He had the 130 yards of TD, no picks. He was sacked once. Andy Dalton comes in, has 60 yards, no picks, no TDs. He sacked once. Dowdle, 79 yards rushing. They did get Hubbard back, and he ran for 31. I forgot they had him, so they could have a lot going on here. I think Dowdle should get more of the carries, but Leggett or Legay has 9 catches for 92 yards and a TD to lead the way. 2 sacks for Brown, a sack for Morig, a sack from Robinson, a sack and a half from Scrotal. Number 3 has a half a sack. Okay. Jace Horn has 2 picks. Fitzgerald hits both his field goals and his extra point. The Jets D will hold you to low points, but their offense will do jack shit. On to the next game. Bears beat the Saints 26-14. Bears 4-2. Saints 1-6. Rattler 2 TDs, 3 picks, 233 yards. He's sacked 4 times. They run the ball. Some of these running totals are so low. I don't even want to tell you the leaders. 44 yards rushing on 17 carries as a team. Olave, 98 yards receiving, 2 TDs. Rattler loses a fumble as well. They get a half sack from Breesy and half sack from Young. Riley has a pick. Their kicker missed his only field goal attempt, and he was 2 for 2 on extra points. The Bears, Williams has 172 yards passing, no TDs, 1 pick. He's sacked once. So they were running the ball like nuts. I was like, what happened here? He didn't do much, and they were winning. They ran the ball as a team for 40 times for 222 yards. Swift had 124. Number 25 had 81. Each of them had touchdowns. Moore has 43 yards receiving to lead the way. They get a sack from Edmonds, a sack from Brisker, a sack from Sweat. Is it Sweet or Sweat? Gordon has a sack as well. They get picks from Wright, Edmonds, and Byard III. Their kicker is 4 for 4 on his field goals and 2 for 2 on his extra points. Hold on, I gotta respond to something real quick. All right, where were we? Eagles beat the Vikings 28-22 to move to 5-2. Vikings are 3-3. There's an overturned touchdown in this game or something. The one guy was pissed. I don't know. I didn't see it. Hurts 326 yards, 3 TDs, no picks, 19-23. He sacked 3 times. Barkley has 44 yards. Devonta Smith 9 catches, 183 yards and a TD. A.J. Brown 4 catches, 121 yards and 2 TDs. They get a sack from number 0 and a sack from number 97. Hunt has a pick return for a touchdown here of 42 yards. And number 24 has a pick. Their kicker did miss his only field goal attempt, but it is 4 field goals. Best team in the league right now, the Colts. Wait, did I skipped the Vikings? Hold on. I'm gonna let go. Really trying to breeze through this. The Vikings. Wentz has 313 yards. No TDs, 2 picks. He sacked twice. Mason, 57 yards rushing and a TD. Addison, 128 yards receiving. Jefferson had 79 yards receiving. They get half a sack from number 44, a sack and a half from Wilson, half a sack from Allen, half a sack from Turner. No picks. Their kicker is 5 for 5 for his field goals with a long of 59. And he hit his extra point. The 6-1 Colts beat the Chargers 38-24. Chargers 4-3. Okay. Daniel Jones continuing to have a great year. 288 yards, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked once. Jonathan Taylor, 94 yards rushing, 3 TDs. Pierce has 98 yards receiving to lead the way. Warren and Pittman Jr. have receiving TDs. They get 2 sacks from DeForest Buckner and a sack from Latu. Picks from Stewart and Cross. Bye. Their kicker kicks his 1 field goal. He does miss one of his 4 extra points. They're doing good, the Colts. Herbert, 420 yards, 3 TDs, 2 picks. He sacked 3 times. They only run the ball for 54 yards and 16 carries. Gadsden the second, his father was on the Dolphins for most of his career, right? He has 164 yards on 7 catches and a TD. Keenan Allen, 11 catches, 119 yards and a TD. Johnston has the other receiving TD. They get a sack from Mack. I think he was back. Khalil Mack was his first game back, I think. That kicker hits his 1 field goal, 3 extra points. Well, that was good to see because Denver's in first by themselves because I'm going to ramble here for a minute on this. Denver beats the Giants 33-32. I said I had watched, if he's watching my Instagram, I talked about this in my ramble video in the garage yesterday or 2 days ago. I decided to watch some football. I was watching some of the earlier games. They were boring as shit. Even some of the higher scoring games, I was bored. And the game has no flow. Football really never had any flow. The flow is almost worse than baseball at this point, right? I'm like, time to watch a Broncos game. The Broncos are getting slaughtered for 3 quarters. Just they couldn't do anything on offense. Defensively, they were doing okay, but the Giants were getting big plays, and they're up 19-0. I'm like, yeah, figures. I decided to watch the first game in a long time, and they're losing to a team they realistically should beat. But I think the Broncos are a little bit fraudulent. They need to kind of not be down. They came back against the Eagles, too. They were down 17-3, I think, in the 4th. They got to stop this shit, okay? Because this ain't going to fly in the fucking playoffs. Unless you're the Bills coming back and the Oilers back in the day. Down 35-3. But they go nuts in the 4th. They score all 33 points in the 4th. And I was going to reveal stats here, but the Giants' last drive, Denver went up 30-26. The Giants' last drive, they were literally marked down the field by penalties. I think there was a roughing the passer, a pass interference that the guy who's standing right there, the ref that was standing right there, did not call. It was most of the time this would not be called. He turned around time. The guy down the field called it. And then Peyton got a penalty because he came on the field unsportsmanlike. So they gave him a bunch of penalty yards. They score. But the guy misses the extra point. Denver gets the ball back with like 37 seconds left. Drives down the field, a couple quick passes. Kick the field goal to win. And after that field goal, the ref was kind of getting mobbed. He was like right there, and the players were all cheering for Denver. And he pushed one of the Denver players, just a little shove. And then Greenlaw chased down the ref and got suspended for a game. He was probably telling the ref, dude, Denver had like 12 penalties for like 100-something yards. Now, Denver is also undisciplined on defense. They jump off sides constantly. They did it like 4 times in the first half. But some of the penalties were a little, you get that in games, but I think he was letting the ref know how it feels. But you saw the ref. I'm like, where's this push? You see him kind of just go like this. Like, I don't care if it's a little shove or not. The players can't touch the refs. Refs shouldn't be touching the players either. On purpose. It's accidental. It's a different thing. But Denver has a massive comeback. I was like, holy shit. Dart has a really nice game, though. 283. 15 of 33, but 283. 3 TDs. Pecky sacked 4 times. Scatabo. 60 yards rushing. Tracy Jr. has a rushing touchdown. Dart has a rushing touchdown. Robinson had 95 yards receiving. Bellinger, Johnson, and Scatabo all had receiving TDs. The one both teams had, it was funny, Denver's first TD was deflected, and then Franklin caught it in the end zone. The next drive, Robinson bounced off his chest into the tight end's hand. I think it was Bellinger, maybe. And he got like a 50-something yard touchdown. 44 yards, I think. They got 2 sacks from Burns. No picks. Their kicker has no field goal attempts. He goes 2 for 4 extra points. He definitely cost them the game in the sense if those 2 extra points were hit, them for a loss. But they would have went to overtime if he had that second one. But that's how it goes. Like I said, the kickers are kind of shit in the bed all year. Bo Nix wasn't doing jack shit. Nobody was. Until the 4th quarter. 279, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked twice. Dobbins has 81 yards rushing. Nix also ran for 2 TDs. He had 4 touchdowns in the 4th quarter. Franklin had a receiving TD. Sutton had 87 yards receiving to lead the way. Harvey also had a receiving TD. They get a half sack from Roach, a half sack from Allen, a sack and a half from Cooper, a sack from Tillman, and a half sack from Robinson. Strad has the pick. That's the guy who got pushed by the ref. He has a pick, and that was a huge pick. I think they were down 26-16, and then Dart threw the pick on that drive. Their kicker hits his one field goal to the winner and his 2 extra points because they went to 2 twice. Funny because they were honoring Demaryius Thomas, the great Bronco receiver who died. I forget how many years ago. He was awesome. I loved him. And they put him in their ring of honor. Teams all the ring of honor. But they scored two extra points. He was number 88. And they had 33, which was significant for something. I forget what. I don't know. It was kind of strange. Denver is 5-2. The Giants are 2-5. Denver can't be doing that shit. They're like, you can't be like, oh, let's hope we score 33 points in a quarter. No. It's annoying. And I just think they're not. They could easily lose to Dallas this week. I think they need to figure it out. Because their play calling, I always look on the Instagrams of teams in Denver's I go to a lot. And the fans are like, the play calling sucked. I saw it in the first half, all 3 quarters. Tons of screen passes. It's like, Peyton, I thought you were an offensive guru. And then they decide to open it up a little bit in the fourth quarter because you're down 1,000. Do it all game. And Nix throws a lot of it. And the announcer was saying this. Apparently he has the most batted balls at the line in the league. He must just throw low because he literally had like 5 or 6 in the first half get batted down. A few times the dudes had to reach up. A lot of times they're just like hitting dudes. I don't think he needs to throw higher or something. That's a problem. Anyway, next game. Packers beat the Cardinals 27-23. Packers 4-4-1. Cardinals 2-5. Love 179 yards. A TD, no picks. He sacked once. Jacobs has 55 yards rushing and 2 TDs. Dobbs has 72 yards receiving to lead the way. Kraft 5 for 58 and a touchdown. Sack and a half from Walker. 3 sacks from Parsons. That's who they got in the trade from Cowboys. Half sack from a guy I can't pronounce, number 55. Gary has a sack as well. Their kicker's 2-2 with the longest 61. There's another 60-yard field goal. 60 plus. Are these kickers on steroids now? Like, what's going on? And I guess over time they're just getting stronger. That's what happens, right? These sports evolve. The players typically get bigger and stronger over time. That's why I hate in sports when they compare eras all the time. It's like, yeah, sports are a little different in the 50s than it is in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, 20s. Duh. Oh, it's the same thing, though. People will be telling you LeBron played with only plumbers 20 years from now. And I don't even do this. Jordan-LeBron debate, right? You have the old heads, as they say. Jordan's the greatest, blah, blah, blah. They say everything the same time every time. LeBron fans, the younger generation, they say the same thing. The umbilical cords say the same thing every time, right? It's always the same thing. The best part is, 20 years from now, the young people are going to be saying LeBron played with plumbers, and the people now that are going to be the old heads that are ragging on Jordan will have to defend LeBron the same way that people defend Jordan and the era they watched. It's hilarious. It's exactly as it goes. That's how it always goes. Because in the 90s, they said guys like Will Chamberlain played with plumbers, and they literally were plumbers back then because a lot of them had 2 jobs. Sometimes they're firemen as well now, which is interesting. Okay, so a 61-yard field goal that came from. Cardinals. Brissett, I guess Murray's hurt. Brissett, 279, 2 TDs, no picks. He sacked 6 times. 57 yards for Bam Knight to lead the way rushing. McBride, 10 catches, 74 yards, 2 TDs. Brissett loses a fumble. They get a sack from Collins, that's it. Their kicker's 3 of 3 from field goals, hits his extra points. On to the next. Another beating. The Cowboys beat the Redskins, Commanders, Washington football team. 44-22. Washington's 3-4. Dallas is 3-1. Prescott's having a great year. Like, I'm concerned about that next week. He's Daniels, I think, got hurt for Washington. He's 12-22, 156 yards, TD, no picks. Sacked twice. Mariota comes in 4 for 10, 63 yards. No TDs in a pick. They run for 136 yards, and Daniels leads the way with 35 and a rushing touchdown. 2 other guys. Mariota has 34 yards. Krosky Merritt has 33 yards. Lane has 60 yards receiving to lead the way. Ertz has the receiving touchdown. Daniels lost a fumble. They get a half sack from Martin and a half sack from Von Miller. I feel like he's having a pretty good year. Their kicker just kicks 2 extra points. He doesn't have any field goal attempts. Prescott, 264 yards, 3 TDs, no picks. He sacked once. Javonte Williams comes back with another big game after he didn't do well last week. 116 yards and a TD, rushing. CeeDee Lamb was back, 110 yards receiving on 5 catches and a TD. Ferguson has 7 catches for 29 yards and 2 TDs. Pickens had 82 yards receiving. They get sacks from Murray Jr., James, Clowney. Oh, wow, Jada. He's still in the league. Number 41 has a sack. They get a pick return touchdown from Bland of 68 yards. Their kicker has a 61-yard field goal. He's 3 of 3. 2 in a weekend. Let's kick the table, sorry. 2 in a weekend. It's just nuts. You guys start testing these guys, dude. They're just shooting steroids right into their kicking leg. That's it. Like, one of their legs is like just, their kicking leg is just like 3 times the size of their other leg. They're lumbering out. They're like, they'll be hitting 70-yarders 20 years from now. Yeah, he's 3 of 3 with a long of 61, and he hits his 5 extra points. And the funny thing is, this is like back in the day, like Elam hit his 60-yarder, 60 or 61, whatever it was, in Denver. So you have the thin air, mile high city. That was like, oh, guys can kick longer there because of the air or whatever. Now it doesn't matter the stadium. They're just kicking them from wherever the fuck they want. That's when guys, like when some teams don't try like a mid-50s to late 50-yard field goal, like, what are you doing? Even the guys that miss extra points still have enough leg to hit 60-yarders. It's nuts. On to the Sunday night game. San Francisco, the injury-riddled Niners beat the Falcons 20-10 to go to 5-2. Falcons are 3-3. Waiting for this thing. Penix Jr., 241, a TD, no picks. He sacked twice. Robinson, 40 yards rushing. Mooney, 68 yards receiving to lead the way. Robinson has a receiving TD. Penix Jr. loses a fumble. They get a sack from Harrison. A pick from Ellis. Any 60-yarders here? No. Their kicker hit his 1 field goal, but it was only 38. And he has extra point. Mac Jones, 152 yards, no TDs, and a pick. He sacked once for the 49ers. McCaffrey, 129 yards rushing, 129 yards rushing, and 2 TDs. He also has 7 catches for 72 yards to lead the way. They get a sack from Huff and a sack from number 91. Their kicker hits a long of 55, 2 for 2. Hits his extra points. Niners are doing their best with all their guys hurt, or a lot of their guys hurt, which is weird. I was looking at a stat, like they're in the top injury, like almost every year. They're like in the top 5 with injuries. It's like something. Who's their conditioning coach and shit over there? Although Shanahan is coaching them, Shanahan's kid, Mike Shanahan's kid. And the Shanahans also probably like to run that. He used to love to run his players into the ground to the point of injury on Denver. I wonder if his son does the same thing. On to the Monday night games. Lions beat the Bucs 24-9 to go to 5-2. The Bucs are also 5-2. Always some kind of noise in this house. Mayfield 228 a TD and a pick. He sacked 4 times. They run the ball for 41 yards as a team on 12 carries. White has 38. Otten 65 yards receiving to lead the way. Johnson has the receiving touchdown. Sterling Shepard loses a fumble. Sacks from Smith, Dennis, Nelson, Diaby. Dean has a pick. Their kicker hits a 53-yarder. I guess they went for 2 on the other one because he had no extra point attempts. Goff, 241 on 20 of 29. A TD and a pick. He sacked 4 times. Gibbs has 136 yards rushing and 2 TDs. St. Brown 6 for 86 receiving and a TD. Goff loses a fumble. Sacks from Campbell, Barnes, and a sack and a half from Wheat, and a half sack from Muhammad. They get a pick from Malay. Their kicker's 1 of 2. His long was only 58. He hits his extra point. Like when you saw a 58-yarder But even in the early 2000s, the mid 2000s, guys weren't. This is like a thing. I feel maybe the past 5 years, guys are just booting these 60-yarders like it's going out of style. What has there been, 4 or 5 at least this year? Last game, Seattle beats Houston 27-19. Seattle's 5-2. Houston's 2-4. Stroud, a TD and a pick, 229 yards passing. He sacked 3 times. They run the ball for 56 yards as a team. Schultz, 98 yards receiving on 9 catches. Marks has a receiving TD. They get a sack from Anderson Jr., a sack from Autry. 2 picks from Stingley Jr., and Bullock has the other one. Their kicker is 2 for 2 and 1 on his extra points. Darnold, 213, a TD and a pick. He sacked twice. 2 rushing touchdowns from Charbonnet. Walker the third has 66 yards rushing. Number 11 has 8 catches for 123 yards and a TD. Darnold and Arroyo both lose fumbles. A sack from Okada, a sack from Lawrence, a sack from number 7. A pick from Jones the fourth. Their kick is 2 of 3 from his field goals and 3 of 3 on his extra points. So another week in the books. What do we got up next week? This went a little longer because I was rambling on the Denver game. And like I said, I gotta upload this like immediately after because they're taking so long. Over the last 2 days, me uploading videos, like it's just, I don't know if something's wrong with the internet or what's going on. I'm hoping it doesn't hold up because I'll do cool Spectrum. You like slowing your speeds down on purpose? Even though the internet's already expensive, you're slowing it down to force people to get a higher package? Did the package I have now become the shittiest one? Because there's a tier below the one we have. Anyway, what do we got on slate for next week? I can't attempt to watch more football. Like, watching the football was annoying me because it was boring in a lot of points. And of course I say it's boring. Denver scores 33 points in a quarter. That wasn't boring. But the game flows terribly. Penalties, multiple stoppages, refs dragging out penalty calls to discuss it with the rest of the crew on an illegal shift for 5 minutes. It's too much. It's too slow. It always was. It's just I care less now, so it bothers me more. It's like I can't watch a lot of football because I will just stop these recaps because I'll be like, I don't like football. I'm not watching this anymore, and I'm not talking about it either. Thursday night this week we got Vikings at the Chargers. Then Sunday, Dolphins, Falcons, Jets, Bengals, Browns, Pats, Giants, Philly, Buffalo, Carolina, Chicago, Baltimore, San Fran, Houston, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, Dallas at Denver, Tennessee at Indy. These are all Green Bay. The first team's the away team. Green Bay at Pittsburgh. That should be a good one. Washington at KC. And we got Detroit, Vegas, the Rams, Arizona, Seattle, and Jacksonville all on bye. So let's see another week in the books. Thanks everybody for checking this out and have a good day.